All right. Let's see what wants to hop out. Death, Scorpio energy, letting it go. Death, it's time to let it go, time to clean up, open a new cycle. So, how are you letting it go? All right. Okay. Strength, Leo energy, and the star. Okay. So, strength is saying, what do I love shadow work, right? So, we're going to talk about shadow work for a moment. Strength and death, sometimes this is parenting yourself and saying, okay, what demons or shadows within myself do I have to tell myself now? Right? As a parent, we have to use discipline with ourselves and say, okay, you know what? I know I have to go to bed early. So with death and strength, this is asking you to kind of take ownership of yourself and your own thing. The star, yeah, it's okay. So, Helen, my love, we're doing collective energy reads. Thank you for the roses, my love. The star is saying, be strong and let go of those things that you need to let go of. The star is saying, we're going to rise up, okay? It's going to be okay. But you do have to let go. So, we have Leo energy, we have Scorpio, heavy fixed signs. And the fixed signs are kind of going through it right now. And we are in Scorpio season. So with all of this, this is saying, what things do you need to let go of that you've been holding on too tight, right? If you hold on, okay, so say you dropped a plate on the ground, right? And you go to pick it up, but you don't protect yourself, right? You don't take the precautions, you don't use strength and protect yourself. So it's saying, okay, what do I have to let go of so I don't keep hurting myself, right? Sometimes we have to say, I don't want to hold on to this thing anymore. I'm going to let it go. The star, this is Aquarius energy. It's saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to rise up. Even if no one else agrees. Like, ever been around an Aquarius? Because God love them, but they argue and they think that they're right. So you're like, okay, you know what? Like, you're set on that, and I guess I'll let you be. But the star is saying, be interested in making sure that you are the center of your own world. Let's say that again. Make sure that you are the center of your own world. Stop putting others above you. The star is asking you to be the shining light for you. You have gotten through 100% of your hardest days. So why do you bend and get sad when somebody doesn't see your greatness? The star says, no, I'm going to shine. I don't care if anybody else sees my shine. I'm going to shine. So death, strength, and the stars asking you to rise up. Let go of anything that is not for you. Stop holding on to broken people, places, things, because all it's doing is holding you back from your Ace of Cups, your love, your happiness, your contentment. Ace of Cups is my cup runneth over, but you have to decide what it is that you want. Not what your mommy wants, not what your daddy wants, not what your brother wants, not what your lover wants, your kids or anything. What is it that makes you happy and feel satisfied? The older I get, the more satisfied I am with like simple pleasures, like the quiet morning where not everybody is trying to, create world war in the house. So the Ace of Cups is saying what makes you feel satisfied and happy, because you can't pour into others if you are empty, right? If you don't know what fills your cup, you can't pour into others. So Queen of Wands, building your happiness, your passion, fiery, passionate. So we have Aries, Leo, Sagittarius out here coming in and saying, okay, what makes me feel satisfied? Okay. So what makes me feel satisfied? What makes me feel happy? What makes me feel empowered, bold, like I'm the author of my own life? Anybody know a fire sign in here, or is a fire sign? Come talk to me. All right, Hanged Man, we're going to change our perspective on things that once kept us stuck, stagnant. All right, Helen. So with fire signs, it's remembering what breathes life into you, right? What sparks your creativity, your passion, okay? Because you have to sometimes go back to the very basics. It's like for me, sometimes it's like, okay, let me get out the Play-Doh. Because it's saying when I'm playing with Play-Doh, it taps me into that creativity, and it's such a simple fix. Like, you can get Play-Doh at the dollar store. And saying, like, what is it that makes me feel that creativity, that spark for life again? And sometimes it's simple triggers, simple pleasures. Tap back into the basics of what you truly want. You do not have to make it huge, extravagant. You just have to make it satisfying. Queen of Cups. Hello, hello, Nina. So Queen of Cups, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, is saying that I'm going to make sure that my emotions are filled. Okay? I'm good. Because other people do what they want to do. Six of Swords, you're being moved to safety, but you have to realize what people aren't for you. Like, you ever notice those people that when something good happens for you, they're not really happy for you? It's realizing that, okay, I have to call those people who they are and start moving away from them, right? Six of Swords is saying, oh no, sorry, that's Seven of Swords, my bad. Same vibration though, hello, hello. It's Seven of Swords is deception, betrayal, every waiting to stab you in the back. So you got to realize who's not for you and remove them from your life. Because some people will sink your ship just because they can't be the captain. Hello, hello. But it's your ship, right? It's your happiness. Thank you for the heart, me, Nina. Okay. Tower. So Scorpio kind of started this read, and then we're going to come back to it. And then Five of Cups. So realizing, I'm using the Cat Tarot deck today. I don't know why. It felt like it called to me. So Tower and Five of Cups is saying, okay, what was imbalanced in our foundation? What left us feeling like we were doing all the dishes while everybody else was having fun, right? That Five of Cups is that, like, you were left to do the work, right? While everybody else was napping on the couch. So Tower, we are going to be marching into Thanksgiving. So it's saying, okay, yeah, it's saying, I'm going to let it go. And Tower, you can't always look at Tower like it's scary. You have to say, okay, you know what? Cool. I can start anew. I can build in a different way. Be willing to rebuild your life no matter how many times it takes, right? Because wherever you go, the party is, right? The party doesn't start till you show up. So realizing that whatever you want to do in life, it will wait for you. Thank you for the flowers. Thank you for the likes. I'm Lara Joe, Siren Song Lover. Come on in, chat with me, talk to me. Let's see what's going on. Okay, Ace of Cups. Again, we have to go into what is our happiness, right? What makes us feel like, oh, that's just the happiest thing. And start simple, right? It does not have to be extravagant, I promise. Sometimes the simplest pleasures are just the best, right? Okay, I'll take that. The quiet cup of coffee on the patio. I didn't realize how much I enjoyed that because I went from, I just had a lot of busy mornings. I had a lot of kids around. So that cup of coffee on the patio in the morning, when the morning's slightly chill and you're like, oh, this is heaven. It's realizing the simple things. King of Pentacles. So sitting in that very boss daddy energy. It's Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, very financially stable, right? So you have to realize I have to fill my cups, and what King of Pentacles also is feeling like, it's needing that financial stability to feel like you're okay. So realizing if that's what makes you feel like you're emotionally good, is feeling financially stable, then respect that and honor that within yourself. Because when you're financially stable, let's talk about this, everything is a tool, and it either has harm or heal. The intention is what you put behind it. So everyone wants to say money is evil. No, it's the intention you put behind it. Because $1 million in one person's hand can be a yacht, where $1 million in another person's hand can feed the whole freaking community. So stop looking at it as like wanting money as greedy, saying if I have the financial assets, I can better serve my community. So stop looking at it so much as like, oh, I want money, I want money because I want a Bugatti. Say, I want that money so I can be able to feed the mothers. I can feed the children. We can, how do we community work together? Because That's really what it's going to take is community, and community breaks out to come in unity. So it's when we come together in unity, right? We form our communities. And it's realizing we are all more alike than we are different. So why do we look at that person next to us like there's something wrong with them? No. Everybody's hurting right now. Page of Swords, though, saying that I'm not going to play with people that all they want to do is play with me. Realizing that if it's mental mind games and they just are a prick to you just to be a prick to you, say no. I'm going to let that go. Right? And sometimes when you talk to people, you realize that you trigger them and they are in the mindset of a 5-year-old. It's like when you trigger them, they regress back to whatever age that they received that wound at. So I got to a point where I was like mentally fighting with someone and I was like, he's acting like he's 5. And as the parent, if I can zoom out and look at it as a parent, I wouldn't fight with a 5-year-old. I would let that 5-year-old go sit down and have a timeout until they feel calm enough to come back and talk to me. So realizing that sometimes when you trigger someone, it's like they go back in time and you have to realize they're not worth fighting with because they aren't at the capacity to be able to have that fight with you. So, okay, 9, let me make sure, my old eyes, sorry, that's 3 of Wands. Make sure that you're also building with someone that wants to build with you. 3 of Wands is asking you to start building your foundation, what it is that you truly want. Yet you have to do it with the people that want to do it with you, right? It's easier to find people that have commonality doing the things that you love than bringing someone with you that has no idea. So it's like, stop making people try to fold into what it is you want, admit what it is that you want, and go to those places, do those things, and you'll meet the people that are meant to be in your life, right? Because they'll be doing the thing that you want to be doing. Okay. Maybe that's former aviation wife trauma, because I went to so many things by myself, because if I waited for him to show up, I never would have gone to a holiday gathering event. I never would have gone to concerts. I never would have gone to do things with my kids if I had to wait for him. So realizing that if there's things that you want to be doing, you can't wait for someone else. You have to go do them, even if you do it alone, right? People used to say, they're like, are you sure you're married? I was like, yeah. I was like, he's on a trip. He always works. Which was a blessing in disguise, right? Like, because it's that whole, I've realized with, like, fathers that are potentially abusive, it's better for them to be traveling parents, traveling spouses, because it reduces the interaction within the house. Like, we went through a huge meltdown in 2020 because we weren't used to having him home. We would ask him, and it would hurt his feelings. We would ask him, like, hey, when are you going on a trip? Because we couldn't tell him, but it was like, you were making us miserable. Of course we want you to leave. Okay. Hello, Marlene. I'm Lara Joe. So 6 of Cups, realizing what was it in the past that maybe kept us in that cycle of pain and loop. Kitty cat, meow. Meow. 4 of Wands. Okay, what is it that feels like home to you? Okay? Because start building that within your own life. Build it with the little memories if you can. If it's a bad memory of home, like it makes you feel icky, uneasy, okay, maybe we don't build with that. But saying, what do you want to see going forward? Take some moments to review and, build a better future, right? Okay, Magician. You have all the tools that you need to build the most beautiful life. So Magician's asking you, all of that stuff that you went through to get here, it wasn't in vain, right? That was building, that was character development. That's all things that you can use. When people don't like you, when people don't like you and they talk about you, that's free publicity. Let the haters watch, because that's all they're doing is talking about you. They don't actually have the ability to be in your life. So Magicians, seeing those things as opportunities, everything that they throw at you is fuel for your fire. Yes. Marlene, definitely. So we're building that beautiful life. It's taking all those resources, because when you start looking at it, you start realizing how many things you've gone through, how many resources that you can pull from your experiences. So magician's asking you to take those things that you went through and make it into gold. Alchemize, transmute. I love to talk about transmutation and alchemization. It's saying, okay, so transmutation, alchemization, right? Let's talk about it. So when people throw dirt on your name, instead of looking like, oh my gosh, they threw dirt in my name. No, that's so your flowers can grow, because seeds grow in the dark, right? They didn't bury you. They just helped you to grow. Okay? So alchemization, transmutation is saying that anything that they threw at me, I'm going to use that to build my foundation. It's saying every time, like, and you can do it in words, right? I'm an air sign. Let's talk about air signs. So we're very good with our words. That's a huge thing. That's a huge way that we cast, right? So it's taking and saying that every time somebody says something negative towards me, I get a fatter bank account. It's saying if they're going to talk about me, let me get rich off of their attention, because that energy that they send to you, that's free currency that they sent to you. You didn't have to go out and seek it. You didn't have to go, like, they sent you free stuff. So take and use it for your best life. Start speaking it over your life, that anytime anyone thinks, you know, unkind thoughts, that turns into an opportunity for money for me, so that I can build a better future for my family, right? Let's leave this place a better place, you know, than when we found it. Let's leave it better for our kids. We don't have to say, hey, just because we went through this, that means that they have to. Please don't. Please don't be that mama. Okay? Ace of Cups. Realizing what makes you feel happy. What makes you feel satisfied. What makes you feel loved. Stable. Okay? You have to decide, though, and you have to fill your cup with it. We teach others how to love us, right? So when I became single, because I started dating at the age of 14, and I dated and was pretty well in relationships from 14 to 40. And when I became single at 40, it was hard, because it was like coming out of a long-term relationship. And you get that pressure to, like, go out and date. And then it's like, I actually really enjoyed being single. Yeah. So it's realizing you get to know yourself, and then when you know yourself, you won't let other people treat you less than. Like, guys would be like, my ex-husband, I had to fight with receiving flowers, and that was one of those things. I like to buy myself flowers. That makes me feel loved. I had a guy like want to fight with me on that, and I was like, if you make me compromise how I love myself just so you can, that's a no for me. Like, you have to meet me at the level that I love myself. So when you know how to fill your love cup, you won't accept less from others. And when you don't know how to fill your love cup, then you're asking other people to try and fill your needs without you knowing what it is. So they can fill and fill and fill, but you'll never feel satisfied. Yes, like, I love it. I'm like, I don't have to go to bed with somebody else's time. I don't have to listen to them, like, up and stomping around. I don't have to fight with what I want to watch. I love it. I didn't know, though. I was indoctrinated into, you have to be in XYZ. Like, I've done a lot of deprogramming in the last few years since I've gone through my spiritual awakening. So it's realizing, like, no, this is not normal. And it's also realizing that when we are seeking something outside of us, we're saying that we're not full. So we have to realize we are both masculine and feminine. So we have to be a good masculine. Like, if we're a girl, right, we have to be a good masculine to ourselves, right? We have to protect and provide and lead. If we can't fill it within ourselves, how do we truly expect others to fill it for us? And vice versa. Like, if you're a man, you have to be able to be a safe and nurturing provider and creator for your own feminine as a masculine. So realizing we have to balance that within us. Yeah. I get that. All right. Hello. I'm Lara Jo, Siren Song Lover. Let's see. Tarot. Yeah. No, Indiana. Sometimes. Okay. So our grandmas. There's cross. There's like so many. I have liberal views yet conservative practice. So sometimes I look at our grandmas. I'm like, why, God, did you say? But then you realize, like, love is worth fighting for, and love is a conscious decision, right? When people say, oh, I couldn't help myself, no, love is a conscious choice. You choose to love yourself, you choose to love others. So don't let people be out here shortchanging you and just saying, oh, I couldn't help it, or this, that, and the other thing. So, all right. Hello. Okay, so I'm just going to take the whole stack here. All right, guys, if it fits, it fits. If it does not apply, let it fly, okay? So if it's not your story, don't hold on to it. You know, okay, so I didn't get it. The weather around my house has been kind of weird the last few days. I heard that there was snow where my kids are, but I didn't. I think I got a few little flurries here, which I'm like, nope, that's a nope for me. I had post-traumatic Down syndrome because we actually got snowed in last year a little bit, which is in the South unheard of. So, and I'm definitely not from the South. And what I like about here is that we don't get snow. And, yeah. Anyway. How much did you get, Debbie? Okay, King of Wands, Five of Wands. Okay. King of Wands, Five of Wands. It's saying if it's causing us stress, fighting, because 5 is need for change, and then Wands is passion, you have to maybe step back and realize, like, is this fight worth my time? Because we have, all right. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining us from Australia, Marlene. We're in the United States. Please send help. I'm sure you guys need help in Australia, though, too. Like, the corruption is deep in every country. 2 of Pentacles, 7 of Cups. So financial, you're balancing your financial situation, but you have to realize with 7 of Cups, what are you putting in your cups? Is it good things that you're filling your cups up with? Or is it things that maybe you're chasing and throwing money at? Okay, Ace of Swords and 4 of Pentacles. So making the logical decision. If it's making you feel like you have to rob Peter to pay Paul, 4 of Pentacles, like you're in that lack, you have to let it go. Ace of Swords is, and I love this card especially, because if anybody loves kitties, they know that cutting nails is not fun, yet it's necessary, right? It's scary yet necessary. So Ace of Swords is like you have to make the hard decision. It's not fun. And yeah, you could get injured, but you have to do it, right? You have to make the logic and be like, okay, we have to do this. All right, Debbie. Well, that's good that you're getting better. That's good. That's good. All right, let's see what that card is. And Hierophant. Tapping into the knowledge, the infinite knowledge. Oh, yeah. And that's, yes, that's part of the challenge. Realizing, like, okay, maybe I can't go do this thing, or maybe I need to focus on this instead. That's always a spectacular part. Budgeting and such. Hello, I'm Lara Jo. If you're coming in, we're doing tarot. So we have courtship and child. So let's see what energy we need around courtship and child. Don't let your children gaslight you, please. Stop letting them, like, play on your heartstrings. Like, if they are close enough to be an adult, stop letting them gaslight you, please. Especially when it comes to your happiness and your, like, what it is you want to be doing with your life. Journey. So journey comes out, and this can mean actually taking a journey. I've been taking it recently, is taking that internal journey and realizing, like, what is it that I'm avoiding that I need to unpack so that I can keep going on to the next step, right? Why do I keep shying away from that thing that I need to do? Because this feels like an internal journey. Saying, like, okay, I need to introspect, especially we are in Mercury retrograde, and Mercury retrograde is about introspection, right? So it's checking yourself before you wreck yourself. That's like the most important advice that I can give you as a high priestess during retrograde is, like, check everything to make sure that maybe you're not the one having a problem. Like, maybe everybody else isn't tripping, maybe it's you tripping. Sometimes you do have to admit, like, hey, I'm my biggest op. I'm my biggest enemy. I'm my own problem. If you're never satisfied, sometimes it's you. Occupation. What are you doing with your hands right now? Are you doing anything productive? Are you doing anything healing? Are you doing anything creative? Also, okay, with occupation, please get so radically comfortable at failing, at being bad at things, right? Realizing, like, what do I need to be doing? What do I need to be doing? And if it's creating and playing, like, get really uncomfortable at doing new things, please. Because I feel like there's something you need to be doing, but you're afraid to do it because you don't want to look like you suck. And stop. We all suck, right? We all have days that we're like, ooh, that one, like I do. Okay, so I do a lot of energetic works, and some days I'm like, oh, that didn't go how I thought it was gonna go. But I also have to realize, like, if it didn't go the way I thought it was, maybe I need to check my approach or what I'm doing or what I added or how to move forward. So keep playing, keep growing. Okay, so, and this has been coming up as well the last few days for internal review. Family room and occupation. This is listening to other people's ideas of how you can and cannot make money. And that's just an internal program and fear. Stop thinking that abundance can only show up in one way. Right? Because it can show up in multiple ways. So occupation and family room, that's asking you, please look at the way that your parents talked about money and realize that that may not be yours and you need to adjust your goggles on it. Okay? This comes up for me because I was looking for some information yesterday that I would be condemned by the family for looking for. I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care because they're not in the situation I'm in. They don't, and actually, they're not in the situation I'm in because they put me in the situation that I'm in. So before I listened to their condemnation and shame, they couldn't last a minute in my shoes, and they're the one that put me in these shoes. So me saying, like, why the hell am I going to care? Like, you can't drop someone in the ocean and leave them to die and then ask them how they survived the sharks when they got back to land. It's none of their fucking business, right? Yeah. And Debbie, I think that's going to bring you a lot of peace. It's going to feel hard. You're going to get shamed and guilted, and I want you to not pay attention to any of that. Okay? And you need not explain shit to anyone, right? Here's this part. You are a grown-ass adult. You need not explain anything to anyone. You need not convince anybody of your experience. You don't have to explain anything, right? You know what he did. He knew what he did. You don't have to, okay, this is another lesson that's been coming through. Stop seeking validation for your experience, because especially if it's an abusive family, they're never going to validate your experience because they want you to forget it. Yes, and silence is violence to someone that wants a reaction. Right, Debs? We've talked about that. Silence is violence to someone that wants a reaction. That's how I learned, people that want me to squeak in pain. And I learned this from a very young age because my mama loved to hear me cry. So she loved to hit me on the head with a brush. Right? So, and I always had very fine hair that tangled. So she would, when I would, cry in pain, she would enjoy that. So I learned that if you didn't want to get tortured, you just didn't make noise. So realizing sometimes when they want a reaction, the most peaceful thing you can do for them is not give them one, because then it takes the wind out of their sails and you can see how they truly feel. Also, when you decenter them by giving them the reaction that they don't, if you give them an unexpected reaction, that decenters them, because then they realize, wait, what's going on here? Okay, and Debbie, here's the challenge. Even if you backslide on it, it's not a big deal, because you can correct again. Because now you know. It's like the Karen situation. Now you know, so that's a thing that you won't do that again, because you're like, oh, no, I remember what happened last time. You'll recorrect. Even if it's a tiny slip, you'll be like, no. I stopped hanging out with people, or I stopped going around with people, because I did realize that there were people that accidents happen when I went around them. As if I go around them again, it may be a final ending. That's spirit don't play, but if you don't listen, then you're playing with your own life. But you have to listen to that to say, yeah, okay. You have to realize, though, if that's what she's doing, you can't go around her, period, because next time it may be fatal. right? So, and it's a co-creation of her and your own trauma and triggering. So, I mean, if you know she makes you sick, don't go around her. Because it can get deadly real fast. So, whether it be energetic or real life, because they get mad because they can't control you, right? Well, the responsibility is on you, though, because you say, like, oh, but, okay, so first off, she's never going to see her side. She's never going to clean that up. So you can't ask her to shoulder the responsibility. You just have to be the responsible adult and remove yourself, right? If you were a mom to yourself and you saw your daughter going through this with her friend, would you be like, hey, man, we need to separate you from her? So this is asking you as the parent to yourself to say, hey, this is not a good friendship for me. And if I don't remove myself, because she's not going to want to remove herself, so it's realizing, like, if I don't remove myself, I'm 100% responsible for what happens to me after this. I knew who she was, right? When we see people for who they are, we have to move, right? Because God, I love snakes, and snakes are the divine feminine, right? But snakes only shed their skin to become a bigger snake. And if you know that it's a venomous snake to you, right, you can't blame yourself when you get bit, because you already got bit before and you already treated yourself for those wounds. And then, you know, like, you don't need to ask her why she keeps biting you. She's a snake. That's her job. And some people are here to bite us with venom so that we don't go to those places. We don't go do those things. Okay? So 3 of Cups, realizing who was partying off of our downfall. Who was celebrating when we were sad and lonely and feeling depressed. Because especially in religious circles, what they love to do is to be able to generate, like, sympathy around someone that's a poor soul, so then it makes that person look like a good friend. So realizing, like, who was enjoying your misery, because then they could turn around and gossip about it at the punch bowl. And also, though, foundations built off of someone else's tears shall never last. Don't make other people cry for your own entertainment, because that means your foundation shall crash, right? Okay. Hanged Man, changing your perspective. When you move away from people that made you sick, you'll be like, oh gosh, I don't miss that. Like, it's hard at first, but then you start realizing, like, no, I feel really good when I don't interact with that person. You can be in the same town, like, you can live on the same street, and if you decide you're done with someone, universe will make it so that you will never have to see them again. So Hanged Man, it's changing your perspective about people that you once found as, like, your people, and realizing, like, no, they weren't really for me. They were celebrating my misery, right? So, all right. Okay, 2 of Swords, stalemate. It doesn't feel like a comfortable position. Doesn't feel like something you want to do. 8 of Pentacles, though, it is keeping you in stagnation. If you don't want to be stuck in the perpetual loop, right, you're going to have to start making those decisions for you. Realizing, like, not everyone can come with me. Right? So 2 of Swords and 8 of Pentacles is realizing that not everyone's going to want to see you succeed. And they will hold you back. And if you know that, let them go. Okay? Or make that decision. It's like, okay, I have to... So think of surgery. When we have a lesion, think if we have cancer, right? When we have surgery, it's like they have to cut out part of it. And yes, it can do damage to the other parts around you, but it's like sometimes you do have to cut out and there will be some damage around it, but it's like cut out a little bit and save yourself, just like with bad people in our lives. It's like carve out their place in our lives and remove them from our lives, or let it be what makes you succumb. So realizing, okay, Page of Wands, if they're childlike, temporary, like temperamental, fiery, realizing that's burning up your energy, that's burning up your time. You can't spend time doing it. You may love them, but you can't keep doing that because it's wasting your resources. That's also chasing. Stop chasing people, because that's wasting your resources, your valuable resources. Ace of Cups, especially if happiness, love, That's your end goal, Ace of Cups. You have to realize who can come with you and who can't. Okay? Let's see if I want to switch to another deck. Yeah, I guess I'll do another tarot deck right now. I'm just kind of playing around. My, Debbie girl, my stress levels are bananas, and I just don't even anymore. I had a situation. I had an interdimensional situation today, and that was quite something. So, all right. Hello, hello. If you are coming in, I am Lara Jo, Siren Song Lover. We're doing collective tarot. Hope you're having a beautiful night. Come talk to me. Tell me about your spiritual stories. Tell me about your spooky, scary times if you have them. Let's go. I do Reiki, sound therapy, inner child healing, PTSD. I do a lot of things. So come work with me. We'll change your life in real life. Queen of Cups, so Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. It's saying we have to fill our cup before we fill anyone else. Especially if you're a female. Like, you really do have to fill your cup before you can fill anyone else's cup, because you cannot pour from empty emotions. Also with cups, so if our emotions, that's cups, and that's love, right? And if you're pouring into a broken cup, it's never going to feel satisfied. All right. Hello, hello, from one Libra to another. I am Lara Jo, your high priestess. Yeah. Well, and that is the whole point, Debs. Your body will tell you, hey, this is not for you. And Deanna, yes, if you're a mama and you said you've long-term been married, you've probably forgotten that you had a cup, so it is more than likely time for you to flow and balance into your cups, right? And if you know you're a big three, right? Yeah, you do love balance. I get it. And not really, here's the part that people don't realize with Libra too, is it just takes one of something, right? Think of the balance of the scales, right? Sometimes it's like one grain of rice that brings it into balance. So realizing it's sometimes the simple things, but it does only take one. Like, we think our mission has to be huge. No, sometimes if you only reach one person, that was like the one person you needed to reach. Sometimes it's yourself. And also, okay, so as a Libra, right? Just a rant from it. I'm so tired of keeping the peace for everyone else at the cost of my internal war, right? So, Deanna, my love, I need you to realize, as a Libra, you need to stop keeping the peace for everyone else when it's causing you war, okay? And Libras are very passive-aggressive. We will let shit slide until we become aggressive. And that's once you flip that switch. But as we are kind of the ambassador of all the astrological signs. We're known as the best friend zodiac, because if you make us mad enough, because we generally have friends that we talk to, and we're like, oh, it wasn't that you just did me like that, you did them like that, and they've got their buddies and other astrological signs with receipts. So don't create beef with a Libra, because your life could turn to hell, because we are best friends with all the other zodiacs. And when we come for you, we typically are building it like a RICO case. We're like, oh, we've got screenshots, we've got receipts, but normally it's like, I don't want to go doing all that, right? I'm normally like, I would rather leave you the fuck alone than ever have to go prove a case on you, because you're not going to survive that. Like, you'll be clutching your chest. We'll need an ambulance because you'll be clutching your chest, because there ain't getting out of that case, right? So I'm like, don't choose beef with me. Yeah, no, me too. I'm like, oh, you want to talk about mother. I get it. How old, though, Deanna? Okay, well, so welcome in. There are other friends in the seasoned category that I mentorship with, right? I don't know how old I look to you guys, but I also I had very old parents, so I have a kind of a weird, odd, old soul. So I I like simple things. I'm like, no, like I like old timey stuff. I don't know. It's weird. All right. One of my sexually transmitted I can't even say it. Sexually transmitted dependence wants to join the conversation. No, I'm not 30. Thank you. That's very flattering. I have, okay, so my oldest is about to be 24. I just turned 43, though. If you can believe. Thank you. Look at me flexing on my age. Okay, so Hermit and Sun, realizing, okay, go within so you don't go without. And that's, well, okay, so I've also been divorced. I've reversed age since my divorce. I gave up drinking. I have unpacked a lot of PTSD, family trauma, religion, indoctrination bullshit. Let's see what else. I've done some of the most terrifying things ever. Did I say I lost 90 pounds? So if that makes sense, like I reverse aged when I dropped toxic men and toxic family members. Like, healing is hard, not gonna lie. Yet when you can emerge, it's like butterfly, right? When we go from caterpillar to butterfly, it's a very painful breakdown process. And yet the other side's more beautiful because you have wings. You go through all that struggle, the breakdown, the goo process to come out with your freedom. And realizing also when you go through transformations, I love to talk about this. I'm very nature based, right? So like I love animals. I work heavily with nature, pictures of wildlife everywhere, and realizing like this is a natural progression, right? And you can't, when you go from caterpillar to butterfly, when you're a caterpillar, you sit on a leaf and you eat leaves with your friends, right? There's very limited mobility. But when you go through the breakdown, and not everybody will or can or wants to go through the breakdown of becoming a butterfly or a moth or whatever their calling may be, right? It's a very painful process. That's the same with humans. They may not want to get off their leaf. They may want to just do that. Realize though, if you went through the struggle and you broke through your cocoon and you gained your wings, you're going to drink nectar, and you have a finite time with those wings, and realizing that you can't stay with the people that want to eat and be on the leaf. You have to be able to enjoy your freedom because you went through all of that struggle to be able to have a different source or to be able to have a different experience. So realizing not everybody can come with you because they didn't want to do that work. And that's not a you problem. And you can't shame them. You can't guilt them. You can't wait for them. You just got to keep going, because at the end of the day, it's you versus you, babes. And you have to make sure that you're good so you get out. Yeah, Debbie girl. So go within to go without, and realizing that the sun will come out tomorrow. If you want, I can sing Annie. The sun will come out tomorrow. I know it was wacky, but that's okay. The Hermit, going within, it's self-reflection. It's saying, I'm not scared if I'm in the dark because I have the lamp, right? And even in that caterpillar chrysalis stage, I have the lamp. The Hermit saying, I'm going within, I'm doing the breakdown because sun, right? We are the solar system. It always shows up, rain or shine. Every day that sun shows up, and you do too, babe. So realizing sometimes you have to go within. You have to fill your cup. You have to realize, I am the light I seek. My favorite thing to say with the Hermit, you have to go within so you don't go without. I love it. Okay, Deanna. Annie. Little organ Annie. And realizing, like, with that sun energy, you'll have better days. This too shall pass. It may pass like a kidney stone. It too shall pass. So realizing the sun, I will have better days tomorrow or another day, but this is temporary, right? Everything in life is temporary. It's all mental, though. Ment is your mind, and all is your God, your avatar. How are you rewriting your wiring and say, you know what? Like, this is something I love this because one of my babies adopted this mindset, because I've started looking at things like, I've gone through worse, or I've had worse pain, or I've done this thing. And I've heard my daughter start saying it too, because before it used to be like, I love her. I love her. I love her. She's Aries, but she's very dramatic, like very fiery, very passionate, very, And she started looking at it going, no, I've done worse. I've come through worse. So why am I sweating it now? And I'm like, all of those times I didn't think she was listening, she has been taking that knowledge and learning it. So it's realizing like, okay, maybe I don't, when something big happens, being like, no, you know what? I've gotten through harder things than this. So come at me, bro. Right? When stupid things try and knock me down, I basically get up and I'm like, you know what, you hit like a bitch. So realizing like, okay, we can get through this. We just sometimes have to self-preserve. Realizing like it's okay to say no. Please say no so that you can make it to the next day. Like stop giving everything to everyone and depleting yourself, my loves. Anybody knows a Virgo, they are very good at shutting down. They're very good at self-conservation. They don't want to do it, they're not. We've had quite a heavy discussion about earth sign placements, especially Virgos today. And I'm like, yeah, no, they're very slow, stable, dependable, shy, skittish. So realizing how to handle it. In astrology, guys. Let's talk about it. There's so much we can unpack with astrology. Yet knowing your astrology, it helps you know how to handle other people. Like people tell me when they're a Libra, I'm like, oh, I can tell you like the good sides and the bad sides because the stereotype's real, right? Just like even with names, when you meet someone, and I'm like, for me, I'm like, why is every Katie an Aries, and why is every Katie like this? So realizing like, okay, things have a vibration. Notice the pattern. So start fitting it to your life, okay? Page of Cups, realizing where maybe have you been having, where have you maybe had immature expectations around what love is? Like it feels performative with this Page of Cups. It's saying like, where have you expected the big flourish or the grand overtures, and realizing no, love is calm. Love is steady. Love is stable. It's long. It's enduring. Okay. Not falling for this like fool or like sleight of hand. Realizing no, you want that love that goes the distance. We don't want a love for tonight. We want the love that lasts us, like that you write about in storybooks. Okay. So Page of Cups is asking you to be creative, but it's realizing like, okay, maybe who isn't the correct fit for you? Are they actually sufficiently filling your cups? Debbie, I would, so if I were you, because I'm not going to do the work for you, I don't have the time, the energy, the resources, I would go put it in gematria or look it up as an angel number. I love to do a lot of gematria searches, right? So gematria, if you go to, and I've sent you the calculator before, but it's gematrix.com, I think, or .org, and I can pull it up on my phone. But what you would do is put in 332 as the value, and then search, and it brings up things that are associated with that vibration, that number, that time, that angel number. Or you can just do a Google search for angel number 332. I love to do it all. Like I'm psycho. Like I go down rabbit holes all the time about numbers and everything because I love it. I'm like, oh, let's go see. Like I was just looking at it today because I had a gematria. Like I was looking through some pictures, and I was looking through my gematria pictures from like house numbers. And I was like, because you get different messages when you go back and you look at those gematria codes, because there may be a message that your subconscious is trying to get through to you. And when you go look at gematria, it's a way for like you to be able to pull it through, like your ancestors or whoever your higher self is giving you that code. So hopefully that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. If you're interested, please let me know. We can talk about it. Okay, so Death Star Temperance. Death Star, which ironically is what my ex-husband was nicknamed, Darth Vader, or Death Star. So Death Star is saying, how do we, and this came out in the other deck too, so that's a recurrent message, and then this is Scorpio and Aquarius. It's saying, okay, what do you have to let go of so that you can rise above? You can't carry every past version of you with you, right? If you want to make the trip, you can't carry everything with you. Yeah. Yes. in temperance, having patience and balance, realizing that this thing in your life wasn't done overnight, so it's not going to be fixed overnight. Knight of Wands and Judgment. So please make sure that you are calling judgment, though, on people that are fiery, passionate, but they didn't actually do what they said they were going to do. Okay? Magician and Wheel of Fortune. It is time to take, and I love it because Magician came out last time. So it's time to take that thing that happened for you and use it for your highest and greatest good. Okay, so let's talk about lucky girl syndrome for a minute. You know how like some people, you're like, oh man, they're that girl, that guy. They speak it over their life and it happens. And really what that is, it's not luck. It's like they told the universe what they wanted to do, and then they put themselves in the situations that would cause that luck, right? So you can't look at it that way, because I had somebody who said to me, you're so lucky. And I was like, no, man, I worked my butt off. I made sure that I was, even if it meant like I was in the right location for that thing to happen, it was like I co-created with the universe. So start saying how lucky you are. Start speaking over your life. Like, I feel so very fortunate that I have XYZ, because then it'll become your reality. Gratitude. Let's talk about it for a second, because if you want more of something, think about it. If you have an Italian nana, right? If you want more of something, you say, oh my gosh, I like that, thank you. And then what do you get, right? Because you floated her goat. You said like, hey, I really like this thing. She was really proud of it, right? So she gives you more. When you're grateful, when you say, I want more of it, the universe says, oh yeah, right? The universe says, yeah, you bet. You like that? I'll give you more. So remember, if you want more of something, you have to show gratitude. If you want less of something, stop participating in it, right? It's like certain friendships. If you want less friendships, stop participating with those friendships, right? And yes, Debbie, that is like the AJ thing. I know you're a super hardcore non-believer, especially as a Scorpio, especially as an older Scorpio. I know you're a super hardcore non-believer, but there is a reason why I teach you guys to do the things that you do. Because once you know what you want, right, you can do cool things like that, but you have to make sure that you're in a good place to be able to do it. Because if you do bad things with your gifts, right, then you get punished for it. So do good things. Heal yourself so you can do really cool things, right? Oh, Six of Swords, being moved to safety. This is that fairy man energy. You know, when there's that, like, being carried across from the living to the dead. Yeah. And Debbie, if you want more of those, you have to speak those over your life. And you have to take the moment to appreciate them when they happen. You also have to take the moment to appreciate when the bad shit happens, so that you can dream for a better day. So Six of Swords is saying, okay, sometimes we have to hold on. This is, like I say, that being carried away to safety. Realizing, like, so this is that feeling of something big happened, you don't know how, you got moved to safety. So Six of Swords is saying you're going to be moved away to safety. You don't always need to know how. You just sometimes need to have the experience and keep moving, right? Let the universe guide you and protect you and move you away. All right, Three of Wands. This has been feeling lonely, solitary. It's like you're building on your own. You're looking out over your field, okay? Those efforts that you have put in have not gone to waste. And just because you put it towards one source doesn't mean that it won't come back to you in another source. The universe is very intelligent like that. Like, you may do a good thing for someone, you don't realize that'll come back to you down the road. Queen of Wands, sit in your empowerment. This is that girl, that guy. It's like she knows what she wants and she goes for it. She speaks it over her life, but make sure that you are speaking the good things, because even when you speak the bad things, those happen too, right? That's like with my gift, as when I have the gift, right? And I see great things and people want to hear about all that, but I see bad things and I need people to hear about that too, because that is valid and useful information. Just because you don't want to hear it doesn't mean that it's not useful. So realizing that the things that you want to create more of, you do have to like take the good with the bad, and realizing like, okay, if I do this destructive thing, I have to clean up the mess. So realizing how powerful you are in both creation and destruction. Okay, we want to say what a great creator we are, but you're also great in destruction. Do you take responsibility for that? Hanged man. And failure, and like that's, okay, so anything that you see as a failure, that's an opportunity for you to grow. I don't know why it wants to deliver like that. It's like, take that thing that you thought was a crash and burn and realize how much you've grown, how far you've come, and what you've learned from it all. Like, sometimes, okay, because sometimes I look back at things, I'm like, oh gosh, why did it go that way? And then like a month later, I'll see something, I'll be like, you know, it sucked in the time, but I really needed that experience. Or it was really painful, or I didn't know how I was going to get through it. Well, yeah, it sucks at the time, but then you'll realize down the road, you'll be like, oh, I needed that experience to be able to build upon this next experience that I want. Okay? So, Hangman, change your perspective and realize, like, how much have you grown? How much have you changed? What do you need to do? 7 of Swords, this is deceptions, betrayals. 7 is trickery, thievery, foolery. It's choices. Swords is betrayals, realizing who was not for you and who was like wanting to take your seat. 5 of Swords, betrayal, fighting. So this is mental, right? And mental scars are sometimes the more damaging scars of all the scars, because you don't see the physical wound. So you think you have no reason to cry about it. Well, that's not true, because it's the void screaming back at you. All right, my little loves. I'm Lara Joe, Siren Song Lover. I'm going to hop out. I will catch you guys later. Bye.